Remember Sears? Toys R Us, once giants, now just memories. But what if we told you even more will fade in 2025? From declining sales to massive debt, some of America's biggest chains are on the brink of collapse. Will your favorite store survive, or is it next on the chopping block? Find out as we uncover the 10 largest American chains that will vanish in 2025. Number 10. Denny's. Praised for its 24 hours daily runtime, Denny's quickly became one of America's most popular diners since its launch in the 1950s. With many locations near freeway exits, bars, and service areas, it offered classic American food in a traditional dining setting. So why exactly is the chain struggling to stay afloat in 2025? Well, sales have been so bad in recent years that Denny's executives were forced to close 150 struggling locations nationwide. And this brings us to the question, well, what exactly is causing the company's downturn? Well, Denny's is dealing with a few internal challenges, most of which began during the pandemic. COVID-19 dramatically reduced foot traffic, and Denny's never fully recovered. The restaurant's niche was feeding families throughout the day and night owls after dark. It's little surprise that Denny's stock fell 17% in the fourth quarter of 2024. The corporation has long lost its flame and now resembles a wounded horse. Number 9. Red Lobster. Does anyone understand the struggles of the family restaurant business better than Red Lobster? The firm was once hailed for its resilience and success in the American market, but now the seafood king is a fiasco. Remember the disastrous endless shrimp marketing gamble, and Red Lobster made headlines again for its Chapter 11 bankruptcy filing in May 2024. Hundreds of locations have been closed. The company is reported to be in billion-dollar debt. The sad part is how the firm ignored the writings on the wall. The ill-conceived $22.99 endless crab deal cost the company $3.3 million in under 2 months. They failed to learn their lesson. They introduced a $20 endless shrimp deal in 2023, only to lose a staggering $11 million that time round. But that's not to say that poor marketing alone sunk Red Lobster. Mismanagement under Thai Union, its majority shareholder, played a major role. Thai Union was so desperate to exit that it took a $530 million loss to walk away. Number 8. Best Buy. If you think Red Lobster is walking on thin ice, wait till you hear how Best Buy is imploding. In the early 2000s, Best Buy was America's top electronics retailer, but its influence has faded over the years as more consumers have shifted toward online entertainment. Would you believe Best Buy's annual report shows a 3% year-over-year decline in US comparable sales, and the number is worse in various categories. Consumer electronics sales dropped by almost 6%, appliance sales were 15%, and entertainment was worse at 19%. Why? Well, similarly to Red Lobster, Best Buy is suffering from a change in customer spending. Shoppers can find small-ticket consumer electronics in-store or online elsewhere. Plus, in-store service is falling short. As part of its response to weaker sales, Best Buy shut down 24 locations in fiscal 2024 and expects to close between 10 and 15 more by 2025. It really seems like the end of an era. Number 7. Ruby Tuesday. Surprised to see them here? Well, you shouldn't be. The brand has struggled with declining sales, archaic menus, and increasing competition from fast casual restaurants. Make no mistake, guys, Ruby Tuesday's future looks bleak. Analysts predict it may close its remaining locations in 2025, a humiliating end for a once staple of casual dining. The doomsday clock began ticking before the pandemic, with closures dating way back to 2009. And it's been limping along ever since until 2020, when Ruby finally threw in the towel by filing for bankruptcy protection. They emerged from the pit, but it involves shutting down 185 locations and shifting focus toward virtual delivery-only brands. But in spite of these efforts, closures have accelerated at pace, signaling the brand could no longer survive the fight. If analysts are correct, 2025 could mark the end of what was once a popular dining chain. And the same can be said for the next brand on our list. Number 6. TGI Fridays. Are they closing down too? How did we even get here? A brand once loved throughout the country for its casual dining is now facing a financial crisis, arguably worse than Ruby Tuesday. Don't believe it? Well, the brand is on a descent despite filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection in November last year. They've already closed 30 locations in 2025, and there's no sign of slowing down. What's more, the chain has lost nearly half of its US footprint over the past year. It's a shocking, dramatic decline for what was once a major name in casual dining. So what's really going on? Well, like many struggling brands, the firm is pointing fingers at the financial fallout from the COVID-19 pandemic. A decline in sales from shifting consumer habits is a much bigger culprit. The brand has stated that it will use bankruptcy to address long-standing financial liabilities and tweak strategies to keep the brand alive, but it's looking like a pipe dream thus far. The brand is struggling to stay relevant, and its rapid closures suggest an even tougher road ahead. We'll see if they make it. Number 5. Applebee's. If every failure indeed has a lesson, that of Applebee's is to never fall behind the competition. It's so often a slow death sentence. Sure, they've not filed for bankruptcy like some of the names on our list, but the chain's closures have far outpaced new openings in recent years. 10 new locations were added in 2023, while 46 shut their doors. By 2024, up to 35 more had closed, and industry insiders believe that number will only rise in 2025. The problem? Where do we even start? Applebee's is failing to keep up with industry trends and customer expectations. Competitors have successfully adapted, leaving Applebee's in an identity crisis. The company is still struggling with seemingly easy actions like menu innovation, pricing strategy, and operational efficiency. So why wouldn't they be buried under the competition? Sadly, the future of the company looks even bleaker. Customers have already found better service from rival brands, and Applebee's is still on the edge of collapse. The brand's parent company, Dine Brands Global, is now considering merging it with IHOP to leverage the latter's stronger market position. Could this 1-2 punch save Applebee's from ruin? We'll have to wait and see. Number 4. Subway. Year after year, many have wondered when Subway would finally sink into the abyss. However, it feels like 2025 could just be that year. After decades of dominating the fast food sandwich game, Subway is set to close many of its locations in 2025. Sure, the chain has struggled to match changing consumer tastes and fierce competition from smaller gourmet sandwich shops, but it's still surprising to see its footprint shrinking so drastically. The brand has failed to significantly update its menu, and worse, some customers have raised concerns about the quality of ingredients. As things stand, Subway is definitely at the crossroads of destiny: drastically improve or go bust. They've been mediocre for years, and it's finally catching up with them. Sure, they made minor tweaks, including a slightly revamped menu and modernized stores, but it's not nearly enough. Subway will never be able to regain its footing unless drastic measures are made. So the question is, can they really make the changes? Well, we'll see. Number 3. Sticky's Finger Joint. While we admit that Sticky's Finger Joint isn't exactly a giant in the industry, this list would be incomplete without them. Just think about it for a second. Don't you remember when they were a promising fast casual chain? Everyone loved the chain for its flavorful gourmet chicken fingers, but after filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy in April 2024, the chain is now a shadow of its former self. So what went wrong? Well, it's hard to say what truly transpired, but the cracks were visible after expanding beyond New York. Its Philadelphia location shut down after just 5 months, and its attempt at franchising never took off. The chain increased prices to offset lost revenue from reduced weekday foot traffic due to remote work, but this only pushed customers away. On top of that, legal troubles piled up, including a $600,000 lawsuit over a broken lease and a trademark dispute with another restaurant. It remains uncertain if Sticky's will be able to climb back, but the chances are very slim. But what do you think? Number 2. Pizza Hut. From being the king of pizza to getting overshadowed by competitors before an eventual collapse, is there anyone with a crazier story than Pizza Hut? The doomsday clock began ticking when customers preferred delivery models. Pizza Hut's market share was chipped away at by firms like Domino's, a brand that slowly built a reputation for delivery service and customer loyalty programs. Then came the COVID-19 pandemic and inflation afterwards. Poor Pizza Hut couldn't compete, and MPC International, its largest franchisee in the US, filed for bankruptcy. MPC owned nearly 1,200 Pizza Hut locations, and the fallout led to the closure of several stores. And by 2020, the company announced plans to close up to 500 locations. And with the legal battle with one of its franchisees and the hundreds of stores closed down annually, it looks like the brand has finally reached a dead end. Number 1. Boston Market. From its peak in the 90s with over 1,000 locations across the United States to just 27 locations as of the end of last year, we may be witnessing the last days of the Boston Market franchise. So how did a household name in comfort food fall so far? Well, contrary to what many believe, Boston Market's decline started long before the Rohan Group took over in 2020. Sales have been steadily declining over the last 10 years due to changing consumer tastes. How? Well, Boston Market found that its sit-down style made it difficult to draw younger patrons in as fast casual dining gained popularity. KFC, for instance, provides comparable food with a fresher appeal. The company actually went into bankruptcy back in 1998 and McDonald's purchased it in 2000. After passing through several owners, it eventually landed with Engage Brands, a Rohan Group company, which cemented its fate. Poor management, pandemic-related issues, and unpaid salaries resulted in store closures, court disputes, and a $12 million lawsuit in 2023. Attempts to revitalize the brand with new menu items failed to reverse its slide. With persistent financial and legal issues, Boston Market's future appears pretty gloomy. Only a major shift might prevent it from vanishing totally. Now, if you've made it this far, chances are you've had a swell time, so why don't you hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you can stay up to date with more insights and scoops in the world of business, food, and beyond.